First, though, a stunning claim from Chinese state media as Speaker Pelosi departs for Asia and a possible visit to Taiwan. If U.S. fighter jets escort Pelosi's plane into Taiwan, it is invasion. The tweet from the Global Times commentator reads, the PLA has the right to forcibly dispel Pelosi's plane and the U.S. fighter jets, including firing warning shots and making tactical movement of obstruction. If ineffective, then shoot them down. Peter Doocy asked the White House about this latest rhetoric just moments ago.
As it relates to the speaker's travels, it's something that we're just not going to speak to right now. That's a hypothetical. We're just not going to speak on her schedule.
As I mentioned, we'll also bring you the latest recession spin. White House economic advisor Jared Bernstein and Neil Cavuto are here. But let's begin with Florida Congressman Michael Waltz. He serves on the House Armed Services Committee and is a former Green Beret commander. Congressman, thank you for joining us. This threat about shooting down U.S. jets, Pelosi's plane, what do you make of that?
Well, first of all, Trace, the response from the White House apparently is this is unnecessary rhetoric. This isn't unnecessary rhetoric. This is an unacceptable threat. Speaker Pelosi, regardless of what you think of her politics, is number 3 in line for the presidency of the United States. And once again, we see the Biden White House failing to be clear on what the United States finds acceptable and unacceptable, and in this case needs to make it clear that should any harm come to Speaker Pelosi and her trip to Taiwan, it's tantamount to a declaration of war. That's the kind of clarity we need from the commander-in-chief right now, and we're just not getting it.
Yeah, Commander General Jack Keane said that, listen, regardless of all these threats coming in, that Nancy Pelosi should go. Listen to him and I'll get your reaction.
But to back away from that would give President Xi a huge propaganda victory, something they would love to see. Just going into the National Party Congress here in a few weeks where they're going to enshrine him for a 3rd term. They want no embarrassment.
And it would embarrass President Xi, but that's not really the point here.
Yeah, so I think General Keane has a valid point there. This is as much about internal politics with the Chinese Communist Party as they head into their every 5-year party Congress. And Xi is looking for an unprecedented 3rd term, and he's looking to be elevated to the chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, which would be a bit of a historic promotion. So yes, being embarrassed in Taiwan by the speaker going is the last thing he wants. But this is also part and parcel for their bullying tactics. If they turn up the heat enough, then everyone else will stay away. It's just not worth it. But the message it sends to our allies, to the Japanese, South Koreans, Australians, if they don't go, if she refuses to even visit, then what does that say for our ability and willingness to defend the democracy that is Taiwan? So she has to go.
You talk about these bullying tactics, Congressman, and I'm wondering what you thought about the 2-hour, 17-minute phone call that she had with President Biden, where he said that the U.S. must not play with fire on Taiwan, and those who play with fire will perish by it. I mean, that seems to be, at the very least, a bullying tactic.
Oh, absolutely. And that's par for the course for the Chinese communists. But what I wanted to see from Biden was a clearer statement, a policy shift. He slipped in this regard when he was in Japan, where he said, absolutely, we'll defend Taiwan. Then his staff walked it back. We need to move away from the one China policy, move away from strategic ambiguity of what we'll do, make it clear what we're going to do as a deterrent measure because of these types of moves from Chairman Xi.
You brought up very quickly, and I've got to go here, but you brought up that you believe that the Chinese are actually buying up farmland in the United States to get close to military bases. Very quickly, what do you know?
Well, they're getting close to some of our most sensitive bases. One of them has space operations. Another one has our drone operations. The bigger piece is they're actually investing in so they can control our food supply. They bought up the nation's largest pork processing plant. They intend to put a $700 million grain processing plant. These companies may be perfectly innocent, but if their government tells them to turn it off, in the midst of a conflict, they have to do so. We got to bring our supply chains home. They already control our pharmaceuticals. We can't let them control our food, too.
Yeah. Congressman Michael Waltz, great to see you. Good insight. Thank you, sir.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.